People being vulnerable online. So everyone expresses vulnerability online, especially if they post on YouTube, whether it's posting a controversial belief or just going on a personal tangent. Black women, when they do this, I believe it defies the strong Black woman stereotype. The independent, I don't need no man, all my ladies who truly feel me, throw your hands up at me type vibe. There's an article that I pulled from the NCBI, which basically talks about the strong Black woman stereotype, the Black woman schema, they call it. The strong Black woman schema is an amalgamation of beliefs and cultural expectations of incessant resilience, independence, and strength that guide meaning, making, cognition, and behavior related to Black womanhood. And that's a good description of what I'm talking about. I don't need anyone. I'm independent. I can lift up 5,000 pounds of oppression and ride off into the sunset of white supremacy. Various manifestations of self-silencing were found to significantly mediate the relationship between the perceived obligation to manifest strength, this is a strong Black woman characteristic, I mean it's in the name after all, and depressive symptomatology. Self-silencing is a word that really pops out to me, and the article even goes into various ways that you can self-silence. The most obvious one being not directly saying how you feel about a situation or what you need from a given situation. Then there's a divided self, when you have a submissive exterior, but you're actually holding in hostility and anger. Then there's care as self-sacrifice, which is putting the needs of others before your own. And then there's a final one called externalized self-perception, which is when women evaluate themselves based on external or cultural standards. So when Black women come onto the internet and express themselves in any way, I think it's powerful. It breaks this caricature of stoicism and independence and allows for a true identity to come through online. In fact, I think anyone who comes onto this platform with the intentions of showing their true identity is admirable, because it's difficult and annoying and embarrassing. And you're lucky if your criticism is constructive, because you're basically putting your experiences and beliefs on display to be pushed up against the experiences and beliefs of potentially 2 billion people. And vulnerability sells. Your audience, they want you to be vulnerable with them, but it's a certain kind of vulnerability, right? It's a balance. It's a polished vulnerability. According to a registered psychologist I found online, you need a clear plan and strategy before posting, and a level of self-acceptance. Yamaoka challenges us to ask these 3 questions before posting online. Why am I posting? Is there a clear purpose for my posts? And will there be negative ramifications for expressing my vulnerability online? I may be naive for saying this, but I totally think people think things through this clearly before posting online. Even though there's a negative connotation for coming onto the internet and YouTube specifically and treating it as your online diary, I think it could be impactful to express your feelings on here, to talk about the trauma without trauma dumping. You can cultivate a community that validates you, even if that community is small. As long as you can handle the comments and reactions and people overall being shitty towards you, you're good. Stephco had a really great point about this on her most recent video.
I will always keep that as a reminder that you can never control the response of what you put out on the internet.
You can never control the response of what you put out on the internet is a great way to describe that even with the best intentions, even following Yamaoka's questions, you can still bump into some shit. People can and will throw their worst at you. I think she learned this through one of her biggest videos that has 1 million views as we speak. I don't have pretty privilege and that sucks, which is a very loaded title for a YouTube video. When the video first came out, there was this pushback about how Stephanie, Stephanie or Steph? Let's go with Stephanie. About how Stephanie needed to be more confident in her appearance. Love yourself more. And that type of thing is what people say when women talk about this in any given circumstance. It's this typical type of gaslighting that people do whenever this type of topic comes out of a woman's mouth. But if you currently look through the comments today, there's a lot of praise for what Stephanie said, confirming that pretty privilege is real, expressing their stories, whether they have pretty privilege or not. People connecting to what Stephanie has to say. There was even this one comment that I found while scrolling that I think is really important to share. There are many women who understand exactly how she feels but do not talk about it. A form of self-silencing. So you're always going to receive negative feedback from people when you post anything, but it's still important to do so. I would argue that it's still important to show yourself online if you feel called to do so. I read an article about how being vulnerable has benefits beyond connecting with others and your general health, but it also increases creativity and innovation. It is a risk, but it's a risk that can be rewarded. So that's where I am. I'm a Black woman putting herself out there on the internet, scared shitless to be vulnerable, but being vulnerable anyway. And I have to ask myself, does my post, does this video pass Yamaoka's questions? Why am I making this post? If I'm being honest, I'm making this post to see where I stand and how far I can go by posting my thoughts online. Will I succeed? Will I embarrassingly fail? I can only know if I try. Do I have a clear purpose for my post? So she asks to complete this sentence. I am being vulnerable online because I believe this post will benefit me and others by creating a space where people can think of their own self-expression, where I can think critically of my thoughts and my surroundings and how I and others interact with said surroundings. Will there be any negative ramifications by expressing my vulnerability online? I mean, obviously, but the point is not to care, right? The point is to see negative comments for what they are, either pointless trash or constructive criticism. I'm hoping that this video can be a start for an open dialogue, a start for forming a community where folks can connect with my thoughts and what I have to say. Hopefully there are people out there who can connect with what I'm saying and see value in my future vulnerability on this channel. And I hope you found substance in what I had to say in this video today. If you did, thank you. If you got to the end of this video, thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe, but thank you for hearing me out. That's all I have to say for now.